Hi everyone, and welcome to the final session of this short course. I just want to say well done for making it right to the end. And like I said in the previous session, we've been getting some really good feedback from you all. I also anticipate there might be some follow-up questions as well, and we've been doing our best to try to answer those through these sessions as we've been progressing. But if there are any outstanding questions, feel free to contact us, and of course we can signpost you to that help where appropriate. But what we're aiming to do in this session really, Rachel, is kind of the key takeaways from the entire short course itself. Now, I know that we've had key takeaways for each of those walkthroughs, but I guess the question for me is at the end of any short course or any program is, well, what do we do with this now? So for you, having taken us through so much in the last 2 weeks, what would you say some of those key takeaways are, and maybe some of those practices as well that some of our learners can go away and start to implement?
Yeah, well, I think kind of the key thing really is this is a beginner's guide. It's kind of hopefully making everyone feel more comfortable with the platform, but you really need to go and try and put it into practice. I think it's really hard to retain that information and feel comfortable with it until you have to go pull some data yourself or have to generate your own report, etc. So I think really try and take these skills as soon as you can into your environment where you need to utilize them. I think that's probably the most important thing. I would probably say we've touched on key takeaways for each of the sections, so I won't go over that too much. But in general, Google Analytics 4 is still moving. I remember kind of doing some training sessions at the very start, and actually some of the stuff I said kind of in those training sessions now are obsolete, and it's like it's moving that fast. So I think make sure that you've maybe found a method of content that is good to keep up to date with. So there's lots of people post about it on LinkedIn, things like that. So there's lots of resources you could go look at to keep up to date with any new things that are coming out about Google Analytics 4. I would say that in general, that transition is quite big. So I think you do need to feel comfortable with it. And you do need to take some time to get to grips with the platform. It isn't, especially if you're used to the old world, it's maybe not as intuitive as you would think moving to the new world. But mostly it's about being prepared. A deadline is approaching for it in terms of where you can't go back to the old world. And I do think that it's important to make sure as a business that you're ready to move over to that world, get used to that new data, make sure that you've got it out into your digital activity, that you're using it in reports, etc. So one thing is learning the platform, but really, I guess you kind of need like a business plan now of how you're going to take that throughout and how is it going to roll out in your business. If you're not starting from historical, great, but where do you think it can add value in your business now as well? So there's quite a lot of that you can do where you think that bit's quite interesting, or, we talked about maybe a lot of machine learning that's in there. It's like, okay, well, how do I unlock that for my business? So I think it's thinking about things like that, and then also probably evaluating areas where you can enrich the data. So the data is what it is, but what features, what things do you want to put in place that we've talked about where you could start to enrich that as well? So quite a few different things that I think that kind of live outside of the key takeaways that we've already talked about.
Absolutely. I also think it's worthwhile right now to signpost learners to our master's program, because Rachel, you actually helped deliver on that program as well. And we have an entire module dedicated to data analytics as well, where, we do cover the likes of GA4, but that's just kind of a piece of what we deliver on that program. In reality, there are so many different data sources and data types that we can consider when we're trying to get that bigger picture when it comes to making those business decisions. So I always think it's worthwhile in these short courses, because we do see many learners from the short courses go on to progress onto our master's program as well, that if anybody is interested in that, then of course you can find out more on this platform. But for completing this short course as well, you'll also receive a discount of £1,800 onto that master's course as well. So definitely something worthwhile checking out. And again, if you have any questions about that, reach out to us. But Rachel, I just want to say thank you very much for joining me on this short course. I'm sure the learners have got a lot of value out of that. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.
Thanks.